If you are seeing your account down right now 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50% from the all-time high, you are in big trouble because the S&P 500 and Nasdaq only corrected 7% from all-time highs and you are down that much more. Whatever option strategy you guys are doing, you need to watch this video, you need to fix it immediately because this market could go down a lot more, and I'm not trying to fearmonger you whatsoever. I'm going to show you the strategy that I use. I've been using it for 12 years through COVID, through 2022, through Liberation Day tariffs. It simply works. Ratios are in check. The volatility doesn't matter. We simply capitalize on it, and we're going to try to beat the market in the long term, which is what I've been doing. Now, take a look at the current value of my account. $1,172,000. The all-time high in this account was somewhere around over here. It's like $1,185,000 right there. So see that I'm down very similar on a percentage basis, like 7% from all-time highs, very on par with what the Nasdaq is down right now. And that's critical because when we get dips in the market and when we get volatility, it does not have to be a V-shaped recovery like we've been seeing since, 2023. The market's been on an absolute tear right here. And there's a lot of newly minted geniuses doing the cover call, doing the cash gear put, doing the wheel that have made good money through this period. But what's happening right now? You're probably getting blown up right now. You're probably getting screwed pretty hard. So let me simplify this in a way that anybody could understand of exactly how to allocate your account right now to not only beat the market, but sleep well at night and not have to worry about all the noise that you guys see online. I want to draw a line right now. We've done this before on the channel. This line right here corresponds to the earnings per share growth line of the companies within the NASDAQ. This applies to any company at all or ETF. If you know where the profits are at, that's what earnings per share essentially is. If you know where the profits are at, you know where the stock is going to go. You could go watch many of my other YouTube videos, even ones that I posted at the end of last year. We were up here. I drew this line. I said, look, we're this much above the earnings per share growth line. It's very possible the market's going to have poor returns in 2026. I literally drew a line of what I thought the market was going to do. And now look at what's happening. The market is now reverting back down to the earnings per share growth line. Why? Because that is the number one thing that matters for what's going to drive the price of a stock in the long term. If you go buy a business in the real world, you care about how much you're paying, you care about how much profits they make. If you're going to pay $1 million for a business that only throws off $1,000 a year in profit, it's not really a good idea, right? But if that $1 million business throws off $100,000 a year in profits, you might want to go buy it. That's $100,000. You'll get your money back in 10 years. So the profits are what drives the price of a stock in the long term. So when we were up here, like I said, the market was expensive. I was not doing a lot of bullish option strategies up here. I did have bullish exposure. I'm not going to lie. I show you guys this in the videos. I am bullishly allocated up here, but I am totally not over leveraged up here. But now that the market's falling and it is getting very close to intrinsic value, there is now potential to allocate and capitalize. And we're going to talk about this in this video of the strategies that work to simply make money in the stock market of what I do. Now, up here, same thing. Market was a little bit overvalued. You saw what came after that. Up here, market's a little bit overvalued. You now see the start of maybe the bottom, the dip, the correction, the crash, whatever it's going to end up being. But you saw that this line right here is like a magnet. It's like gravity. The market's always going to bounce above and below this in the long term. It's just human emotion that pushes price of things above it and human emotions that pushes the thing below it. So when you allocate bullishly down here, your future expected returns are probably going to be really good. Allocate bullishly down here, future returns are probably going to be good. But if you allocate above it, your future expected returns probably aren't going to be that good. And when you understand that options are just simply a way to magnify something, like think about the hierarchy of bullishness. If you're bullish, go buy shares. If you're super bullish, go sell portfolio secured puts, which we'll talk about in a little bit. If you're super de-duper bullish, you could go buy call options. That's the hierarchy of how I flow through how bullish I truly am. So up here when the market was a little bit expensive, I was still bullish, but I did not have a lot of call options. I did not have a lot of sold puts up here. But now that the market's falling, I'm adding and capitalizing when people are freaking out, panicking, heading for the hills. This is the time to start allocating in your portfolio if you have a longer duration time horizon. Now, before we actually go into the mechanics of the strategy, I want to be very, very clear. If the strategy that you are doing, if you just go on your broker and look at your previous ROI, and if you are not beating the stock market in the last 5 years, what you are doing is a waste of time. What matters is how much money you make, right? We all want to make the most amount of money. If you're doing your wheel, your cover call, your cash gear put, your Portman cover call, your spread, your diagonal spread, your calendar spread, whatever. If what you're doing is not even beating the NASDAQ or the S&P, you are wasting your time. And if you're only thinking about your ROI in this time frame right here, do you notice that the market went straight up and to the right in a very untypical way? Maybe you're not as good as what you actually think. Maybe you just got a little bit lucky and you were using a crap strategy in a very easy market and you did very, very well. So, that out of the way, let's talk about it. So, when a market's a little bit expensive right here, we'll use this example. When a market's above the earnings per share growth line, like we said, the future expected returns probably aren't going to be that good. When a market's below it, future returns are probably going to be very good. Now, I'm not a guy that likes to bet against CEOs, boards, companies, and their overall mission. That is, selling calls is a bearish strategy, and buying puts is a bearish strategy. It is very hard to win with those strategies in the long term because you are fighting this tailwind of earnings per share going up and to the right. And another inherent problem with doing bearish strategies like a cover call, for example, is you're going to say, well, Brandon, I'm just going to go roll the contract until it expires out of the money. You could go roll the contract, but you're fighting the growth going up and to the right. Versus if you go roll a put option that you sell, you're rolling down and out. Cover calls, you're rolling up and out. So you're rolling in the opposite direction of where the actual profits are going when you're selling a put, and that's why it's much more likely for your sold put that you roll or even do in general is to expire out of the money. So that's why it matters to talk about this when the market's overvalued. I don't usually go and bet against the market because it's harder to be consistent and make money with that. Instead, I would rather buy great companies at good prices, do portfolio secure puts, buy calls, and simply be patient. So we're going to focus this video on the bullish strategy that I do for the most part. So when I see the stock market or individual stock, whatever it is, come below the earnings per share growth line, this is when most people are freaking out and panicking. If we take a look at this on a percentage basis, I believe the market fell 35%-ish in this time frame. Yeah, 35% down. And this dip took about a year for it to totally resolve out. Many people saw red in their accounts for a year, and the market went down 35%. They might have went down 50, 60, 70%, or even blew up their accounts. We're down like 7% right now, and I see screenshots of line of people down 40%. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something crazy, and you have to fix it right now. So, when the sentiment's very bad down here, people are panicking and freaking out. This is a time to be greedy when other people are fearful, like Warren Buffett says all the time. And nobody likes Warren Buffett for whatever reason online. All the newer generation people, like my age people, don't like Warren Buffett. But guess what? He has $150 billion and you don't. And what he does works because that's why he has all the money and you don't have the money. So the name of the game is when the sentiment's bad, we're going to buy some shares down here because that's, remember, the hierarchy of doing bullishly allocation stuff. We're going to buy shares down here to start. Okay? We're going to build our base portfolio, roughly 40% S&P 500, 40% NASDAQ, 20% individual companies. We're so heavy in the S&P and NASDAQ because most people aren't ever going to beat that. So if you just put all your portfolio in S&P and NASDAQ, you're going to be in the bucket of the 5% of people that do actually do better than the market. You'll just match the market, I guess. But by doing nothing, no option strategies, literally nothing else, you buy S&P and NASDAQ, you are going to be better than 95% of people out there in the world. So then we layer on the next thing. We buy individual companies. Great companies, good prices, hold them for the long term. Individual companies are more volatile. They're more risky because you have single stock risk. And that's also why I have heavy allocation to the indices, because there's a lot of uncertainty with individual companies, especially with how AI is transforming so much right now. It's hard to evaluate if a company is going to be really strong in a couple years from now or not, just because things are changing so much. So if we're bullish, we buy some shares of some stuff. Now, if we're super bullish, we then do this thing called stock options, as you obviously know. We layer it on top of it as a tool to magnify something. So when we do stock options, I will do a portfolio secured put. For example, if I want to go sell puts on the Qs, I will not go a month out. I will not go 6 months out. I will go 1 or 2 years out, because this tailwind right here of earnings per share growing is more likelihood that my contract is going to expire out of the money. And I'm not doing this cash secured, I'm doing it portfolio secured. Because the problem with the cash secured put is, let's say that you're bullish to sell a put. You agree selling a put's a bullish strategy. We all agree on that. But if you're bullish, why would you want to have that much cash right here when the market is cheap? When you think the future expected returns are going to be very good, wouldn't you want your cash to participate in that market return? Of course you would. So you sell the put, portfolio secured by your triple Q, your VOO, your individual companies. Your ratios are always going to be in check so that if the market happens to fall 50% or something, you're still going to be just fine. You're never going to get a margin call if you follow the ratios how I teach it. You're never going to get wiped out. You're not going to lose sleep at night. You know that you're always going to have the money if you want to have it there to take assignment or roll or take assignment of margin, whatever we want to do. We'll talk about that. But you sell a portfolio secure put 2 years out. And let's say that this line right here is going to correspond to the strike price that we're going to pick. And this is December of 2022. So we're going to go to December of 2024. We'll just say right about there. Okay. And then here's our strike price, this line right here. So here's the thing you have to realize. When you allocate down here, when the market's undervalued, clearly below the earnings per share growth line, sentiment's bad, people are freaking out and panicking. You're right, that's a good time to allocate. I'm not saying you have to time the bottom of the market perfectly either. Totally not saying that. Anywhere in this time frame you would have been good. But when you allocate like this, and you pick a strike price that's roughly down here, basically at the money, we'll just say, and you go 2 years out, take a look at the distance of where your strike price is at versus where your actual intrinsic value of the stock is, meaning the earnings per share growth line, and then take a look at where it's at versus when you allocated. Do you see that when you started, we'll just say you had a 32% margin of safety because you got in, we'll just say 32% below intrinsic value. But if you go 2 years out, notice how you have a 47% margin of safety because you gave it time for earnings per share to grow. If we take a look at how much earnings per share grew in this roughly 2 year time frame, we'll just say somewhere around 29, 30%, whatever. So 15% a year. That is accurate to what the actual NASDAQ earnings per share is growing at right now and through this time frame. So when you go longer, you have more safety. You have a more chance that the earnings per share is going to grow and the stock's going to follow that in the long term. So when I go sell my portfolio secure puts, let me clear this out to make it look a little bit more simple. When I go sell my portfolio secure puts, I don't have any cash drag. I don't have the cash sitting here doing nothing. I have my base portfolio allocated, appreciating, and whatever I'm selling puts on, I sell the puts, take the cash flow, buy those shares too. Those are appreciating too. And like I said, ratios are always in check. So if you have downside in the market, you're not going to get a margin call. You're not going to get wiped out. And you're not going to lose sleep at night. Like when we look at my account, I just showed you it earlier. I'll hit another refresh in real time to see what we're doing in real time. You know, I'm down $30,000 right now, 2.5%, a little bit more than what the NASDAQ's down, but that's because I'm starting to allocate bullishly right now. The more that the market falls, the more that I allocate, the more bullish I am. As this market's falling, I'm allocating more. And I'm not looking at this period right here with this short-term volatility. I'm looking in the next couple years to say, how am I going to take this account from 1.1 million to 3 million to 5 million on the next bull run? And that's what I focus on. But most people focus on the short-term stuff that is noise and doesn't really matter. So what I often do when I sell the portfolio secure put 2 years out, I take the cash flow and I'll buy shares of what I'm bullish on, which is often what I'm selling puts on. And sometimes I will buy call options if I'm super de-duper bullish. Remember the hierarchy of bullishness. Buy shares, sell puts, buy calls. Buying calls is the harder way to make money. It's more like swinging for a home run, but you can make a lot of money too. So when it's ultra convictive to do, you could go buy calls. But it's not always going to be ultra convictive. You're not always going to have an ultra convictive setup. Maybe you love stock XYZ, but maybe the NASDAQ looks like this. Maybe the market's right here. It's like if the NASDAQ falls, stock XYZ is probably going to go down with it too. So you have to understand where the entire market macro thesis is at before you do this. So I always start with what the NASDAQ and S&P valuation's at. And usually when these valuations are good, the valuations on individual companies are going to be good too. Because individual companies have a higher beta, higher volatility factor. And when the NASDAQ fell 35% here, those stocks might have been down 50%. And they're going to rebound even harder too. So you can make a lot of money on that stuff. But the problem with the strategy that most people do is they pick crap companies and they pick crap expiration dates and they pick crap strike prices. The problem is because they want to have instant gratification, they want to have this thing called theta, but they're missing the big picture. The big picture is if you simply buy the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and you do nothing, I can almost guarantee you right now, drop in the comments, I almost guarantee you and I will make you a bet that you're probably not going to beat the S&P in the next 10 years. I will bet you right now that you're not going to do it. I have hundreds of people in my Discord, and I know this video is not going to get views because I'm just talking freely right now, but this is the valuable stuff that actually matters for people to make money. I have hundreds of people in my Discord. I say almost daily in there for all the new people that join in. Who here has beat the S&P 500 since before COVID? It is literal crickets. Nobody. They're doing the wheels coming in. They're doing a cover call. They're doing all these popular things you're seeing online with other YouTubers, other Discords. Trust me, they've been through all that stuff. They don't beat the market. So just simply building your base portfolio down here, you're going to do better than pretty much everybody. Very simple, very clear. Then in the rare events where companies or indices go undervalued, sell portfolio scare puts, take the cash flow, buy more shares, take the cash flow, buy some calls. And then you simply sit, you wait, then you give the company time to re-rate back to where the price earnings ratio level should be, back towards where the earnings per share growth line's at, back to its valuation that it should be trading at because it's just overly beat up right here. And then you give it time for the earnings per share to grow. So you have a double bullish tailwind behind you. And then maybe where that strike price and expiration date were down over here, if you go into money, just roll it down and out another year. And then your distance from the earnings per share growth line is even farther. So the longer that you roll puts down and out for, the safer it becomes because you're going to take assignment of shares at a cheaper price, meaning you have to buy them for less money. Great. And again, the problem with rolling cover calls is you're rolling with this line right here. And this line's always going to be chasing you up and to the right. And if EPS is growing 15% a year and you're not at least raising your strike price 15% per year, the problem with that is that you're just never going to be able to get that contract to expire out of the money. And oftentimes people sell cover calls and they go deep into money on this stuff and they just lose their shares for way less than what the market price actually is. So very simply, that's what I do. There's a lot more videos that I made on this to go more into detail. I'm going to link a playlist here at the end in just a second. But trust me, guys, I know that this volatility is unsettling for many people. For me, I am not stressed one bit. For the people in my Discord community that I talk to all day long about this stuff too, and they went through my 10-day training, they feel good about it. They're not stressing. They feel great. So if you want to check that out, check the link in the bio. I never like to shill things. I'm not that guy. I'm not here to make money on YouTube, if that makes sense. I'm here to show you guys how to truly make money because I know that every view that I get, and I don't get a lot of views, every view is a human behind it. And I know that you have a family, maybe kids, stuff like that. And I truly want you guys to do well in the long term. And I mean that very deeply. So I show you what I do with transparency of how I truly beat the market and why 99% of the stuff you consume online is garbage and noise and how to do it the right way. So that being said, if you got value, drop a like, subscribe, hype, comment, check out the 10-day thing. And also, you can do it faster than 10 days if you want. And also, check out the playlist right here. There's a few videos in there that I handpicked to put in there. It's going to go much deeper into what I do here. This is very high level in this video. You're going to understand it a lot more, and I'll see you guys there.